Welcome to Mr. Brandt's 5th grade everyday math review. In this video, we're going to be going over lesson 3.9, which is an introduction to adding and subtracting fractions in mixed numbers. And as you can see, we've got a couple of word problems here, some story problems. So the first one says, a dad and his 4 daughters loved eating sunflower seeds. In June, they ate 2 1/3 bags of dill pickle flavored sunflower seeds. In July, they ate 1 1/3 bags of regular flavored sunflower seeds. How many bags did they eat in all? When I look at these problems, a lot of times they'll ask you to look for keywords, and that can help to figure out whether you need to add or subtract. But another thing I like to think about is the answer going to get bigger, or is it going to get smaller? So with our question, how many bags did they eat in all? That's like the total amount. How many did they eat total? So the answer is going to get bigger. So for this first problem, the number model is 2 1/3 plus 1 1/3. When we're estimating 1/3, it's a little bit trickier one because it is between 0 and a half, but it's a little bit closer to a half. So for 2 1/3, we're going to say that's for a benchmark, it's going to be close to 2 1/2. And so this being 1/3, this is going to be close to 1 1/2. So if we put those two together, 2 and 1 is 3, a half and a half is 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So my estimate for this problem is going to be about 4. Again, we're just trying to get close. Our actual answer is probably going to be a little bit smaller than that. Now, there's a number of ways we can go about doing this, and you can pick the strategy that works best for you. For this problem, I'm going to draw a picture. So I have 2 whole bags of sunflower seeds, and I have 1/3 more bag. And to that, I'm going to add 1 1/3 bags. And from our picture, we can see that we have 1, 2, 3 whole bags plus 2/3 of another. So how many bags did they eat in all? They ate 3 2/3 bags of sunflower seeds, which is actually pretty close to our estimate of 4. Okay, let's move on to our second one. The Colonels were giving away bobblehead dolls to their fans. They started the game with 5 boxes. After an hour, they had given away 1 3/5 boxes. How many boxes of bobbleheads did they have left to give away? So reading this, they're giving things away, which means they're going to end up with less. So my number model for this one is going to be subtraction because they're taking away. So 5 subtract 1 3/5, and I'm going to make that equal B for bobbleheads. And up at the top, I actually forgot to put a letter in. We need to add a letter to that. So this is sunflower seeds, so I'm going to make that an S. Okay, but back to this problem. So for an estimate, 1, I don't need to do anything with 5. It's already a benchmark. It's a whole number. 1 3/5 is close to 1 1/2. So that's going to be about 1 1/2. So 5 subtract 1 1/2. Should put that in parentheses. So my estimate is going to be 3 1/2. 3 1/2. So let's find out what the actual answer is. And again, for this one, you can use whatever strategy you would like. I'm going to go with a picture. And so I've got, maybe I should use squares for boxes. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, and I know that they got rid of one whole box. So I'm going to cross that one out. And I know that they got rid of another 3/5 of a box. So in this rectangle, I'm going to divide it into fifths, and I'm going to get rid of 3 of those. And I'm going to pick a different color to get rid of those. So I'm 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, which means that I have 3 whole boxes left, plus these 2 pieces, so that would be 2/5. So they had 3 2/5 boxes left to give away. All right, let's move on to the practice down at the bottom. And for this one, we're doing some division. So we're going to go with the problem 4,629 divided by, we're going to divide it by 17. We're going to start with an estimate, and for our estimate, I'm going to round 17 to 20, and then I'm going to look at this first, the tens place is a 2, and 2 is, well, excuse me, 46 is divisible by 2. So I'm going to think about this as 4,600 divided by 20. And with that, since both of them end with a 0, I'm going to get rid of the 0. And now I'm going to think about 46 divided by 2. I know 46 divided by 2 is, 46 divided by 2 is 23. And I have this 0 left over. So my estimate is going to be 230. And I'm going to record that estimate right up here. And now let's move on to the actual problem. And I'm going to follow these steps off to the side here. So the first thing I do is divide, and I'm going to look, if I have 4 apples, can I make a pile of 17? No. Since I have a 0 for my first one, now I'm going to slide out and I'm going to look at 46. So 46 divided by 17, I'm pretty sure that's 2. And I'm going to try 17 times 2 right here just to make sure. So 7 times 2 is 14. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So that gives me 34. So there are 2 groups of 17 and 46. Now I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to take the number I got from dividing, 2 times 17, which gives me 34. Now it's time to subtract. 4 subtract 2, or excuse me, 6 subtract 4 is 2. 4 subtract 3 is 1. The cheese stands for compare. I should have written that in. Compare. So now I have to make sure that after subtracting, this number is less than our divisor. It is. So then I go ahead and bring down the next number. And my raw reminds us to repeat. Or it could also mean the remainder at the end if there happens to be one. So now I'm going to go back up to the top and do some more division. So 122 divided by 17. So if I think about this, 17 is 20, and I look at the 2, I can't get any 2's from 1, but I can get 6 2's from 12. So with that, I'm going to try 17 times 6. 7 times 6 is 42. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 4 is 10. So that's 102. I have to get to 122, which means I can add another 17 to that and still be less. So 6 17s got me to 102. 7 17s gives me to 119. So 122 divided by 17 gives me 7 groups of 17. Then after that I have to multiply, and 7 times 17 gives us 119. After I multiply, then I subtract. After I subtract, I compare. 3 is less than 17, so now it's time to bring down the 9. I need to know how many groups of 17 I can get from 39. And if I look back up here, this is why I like to not erase after I do my multiplication. I can see I can get 2 groups of 17. And I forgot to put in my division thing here. So 39 divided by 17, where I decided it was 2, multiply 2 times 17 is 34. We subtract 9 minus 4 is 5. So we compare. 5 is less than 17. There's nothing more to bring down. So from there, I go to remainder. So my correct answer is 272 remainder 5. Kind of had a couple of longer videos here lately. Thanks for sticking this one out. And hope to see you in the next video.